Okay, let's continue with our um, setup here. So this was the bullet 1. So we can do a paste, bullet 2, and then we can do a paste and bullet 3. Okay, and it's pretty much the same set of things, except I think the start frame is changing. So I can copy paste. There's a little transform as well. I'll have to figure that out why. I can just copy paste these. Okay, one more time. And I think I can change the start frame because now the position is changed, but the start frame is not changed. So this one is 1003, 1006. And this last one is 1001. Let's call it maybe 4. Yes, maybe 3 or I don't know, 5. No, let's call it 4. Okay. And okay, so just a quick test to see if it's still working or not. So it's firing, good, in the correct place. This is firing as well, in the correct place. Oh, okay, and I'm going to now copy paste these guys. So it's fireball 2. No, actually, let's do like this. I don't need you, and I want you to be $os, OS, and therefore, yeah, this is correct. So copy paste, automatic naming, automatic file path, copy paste as well. Now the next thing is to cache these out. So I'm gonna file save and cache my sims out. Okay, and everything seems in order. Frame ranges are correct. I'm caching extra frame range if I need to uh, say if I need to offset them, but now we're caching. Okay, let's just make sure these are all version 1. Version 2s will be higher res. Okay. Okay, let this run and we'll come back when it's done. Okay, so I'm gonna load back version 1 for all. No, actually, I'm just gonna leave those alone. So this was the first output from version 1. Okay, and the general consensus was the initial expansion is too slow, which is correct. Um, there are a couple of ways that we could improve this. Now, there are several methods. One of them is, we could retime our cache, which, for example, so this is not playing it now real time, but by just retiming it based on frames. So you put a retime node, make sure you switch to volumes, and then by frame you put your input frame range, and then you kind of like key your frame. So the first frame is the first frame, second is like it's skipping 6 frames. Um, the and so on and so forth. We could do that. The other thing is that you could animate the time scale, but it's going to require probably more sub steps. There are other methods that we're not gonna like gas repeat solver and stuff, but we're not gonna dive that deep today because it's not the topic. Um, so I'm just gonna go with the retime. I'm just gonna delete this. No, is this the same one? Let me see if I adjust. Yeah, I did adjust to look a little bit better here. Okay. Um, there are a couple of things I changed as well, just in between after I saw the first version. So just basically it's the values. I play with the values. I did change the disturbance values and so on and so forth. So you can have a look from the scene file as well. And finally, we have the retime. Now, before we cook it out as a VDB proxy, I'm doing something else. So after the retime, I have the Pyro look, right? So this one is baking out some values. So bake emission is because it does kind of, this was introduced later in the game, it does kind of like gives a neat control on what could we be doing with our sims, but I'm gonna switch this all to version 2. Okay, and maybe this is too much. Let's do maybe 2 to give maybe even 4. Okay, um, it does kind of create some neat look, but it's hard to replicate in Redshift, but we have a shader that kind of does that. So attribute delete, get rid of some attributes, so on and so forth. And finally, oops, and finally, the Redshift proxy node. So I'm going to put this guy here. This is the frame range. Again, we're going to adjust our output. Okay, and literally going to do the same thing. This is the next one is, I believe, without the time offset. Actually, the version 1 is low res, so it's a bit faster to iterate, and then the last one is +2, so this one goes all the way here, and this one is offset at +2, and you come here. Okay, just going to, I guess, see the result. We can do this. I just want to feel the timing, so I'm just gonna plug these guys here and put my boat. Really, just want to feel the timing. Okay, let's do a little flip book. It's also there's a little big gap. I think we could just adjust that as well manually to be fair. I don't see why not. This one is here. We're gonna render them here anyway, so I think before we cache it out, maybe we could just adjust their positions a bit better. Well, I think maybe it's okay actually. Yeah, this is okay. They can have some gap. Okay, let's. This is the third anim. Let's put the bullets here. Okay, and let's make a flip book. There is no folder here in the shot. Yes, okay. And 1001 to 1030. So in the first one is already out. I think I want to delay these, so it's kind of like a poof, poof, kind of a feel. So let's do that. Okay, in 1001, I want nothing on the other one. So all, which one is this one? Okay, so this one is we're not touching. That's fine. This one is also not out, and this one we could probably do 4. No, -4. Okay, so when does it come out? It comes out at 1003, and then I want the other one to come out at 1007, which is this one. So maybe let's put another time shift there. 1007, so maybe 8. Okay, and then if I do a retime, we need to do the retime after then. Okay, I guess maybe drop it here. What does happen then? Boom. Okay, maybe retime before time shift. $1,001. Okay, let's do another flip. Oh, this one is too far ahead. Let's pull that one back, which is this one. Maybe 3, 2. Maybe this one is already 1. Okay, this one already fired. And I want to push this one 2 frames back. No, it's not this one. It's not ignoring me. No, it's correct. No, this should be fine. Okay, let's see how it feels. Just have to make sure that it's not visible before 10, 1, 7. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I think this feels better. Just let's make sure it's not visible before those frames. Or why is it visible? Because what if I do this? Maybe at 1001, we are pointing to 0. No, okay. I guess we could just do a. It's very strange. Okay, I don't need. Maybe I'll just switch to null then. Here, easy. Switch to a null, and I want this to be only visible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at this frame. $F bigger than 1007. Okay, which means null, and that should make that disappear. Okay. I guess we could use this first frame to be one more frame behind. So maybe let's do a little time shift again, just offset it one more frame behind. Okay. And if you go like this, so in first frame, the fire is on. Second, boom, 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 boom. Okay, I like it. So let's cache out the VDBs this way as well. So you go here, and then you go here. Okay, I don't need you guys. We need to do number 2 because they are higher quality volumes. Okay, and if I pause on a frame, go to Pyro look, we're going to get a bit more additional detail. And end of the day, I'm converting all this to VDB. I'm going to cache it out. Now, before I cache it out, I'm going to make sure that RBG Redshift object is set to, let me see, in the volumes, I'm going to use the velocity grids because I want motion blur. I'm going to now show you the material we're using for this, which is the Canon. So if I dive inside, this is just a volume shader. The only trick here is to set the color channel to CE and color mode to replace. And then you can just play with the settings to kind of get the look you want. But if you want to match the output of the Pyro post-processing. That's the CE that you need to have working. And let's assign this shader to Canon. Accept. I guess I could use it. I could take advantage of the. Oh, we have to make sure that motion blur is turned on as well. File paths are correct. And we could take advantage of our top system here as well. So I already had that set up here. We can put this one here. This shot didn't have the alien, so let's get rid of that one because we copied this from the other scene. I just changed the names to something that makes more sense. So I'm gonna point out these to the correct objects. And this one is 1, and this one is 2. Okay, so now let's cook these volume VDBs, the proxies, and then we'll set up their render settings. So this is 1001. Okay, that's all good. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna bake my Redshift proxies. Okay, see you at the end of this, right after the proxies are baked. Okay, now we can set up our render scene, render objects, I guess. So let's drop in a geometry node. Business as usual. This one is going to be turret, I guess 1. And turret 1 is going to be using the Canon shader, but it's also a proxy with material from object node. So that's going to be proxy Canon 0, this guy. So copy. Well, we can just duplicate this actually. Dive inside, put the Redshift proxy Sop. Okay, copy paste. That's going to be 1. Copy paste. That's going to be 2. So if we scrub, the box should. Oh, we don't want to. I don't need to see those. The boxes are not animated because you need to turn on animated preview, I think, and then the boxes will change size and they'll appear in the correct frame. Okay, that's good, but I don't need to see that. That's fine. So now the next thing is, I guess, do a little test render. Do we need anything else from here? No, I don't think so. I think that will be it. Even though we bake this out as use velocities, I think this is okay if you turned it on. We'll see now anyway. Now let's go in the out context. I guess we were testing it in this guy, right? Well, we have to adjust our render layers, but I guess we can leave it as it is. So this is going to give us the ocean, which we have seen, this one. I guess let's test out the Canon render on top of this render now. So if I actually let me do a quick test just for without the ocean, just the ship and our third one, I guess. Let's say it's here. Hit render on ocean 1. Okay, so we have something. There's the light here as well. It looks good. Let's see if we could get a bit more interesting shape. Okay, I don't think we have enough density here, so we're gonna probably need to play with it. Okay, so let's go to our shader, dive, and we're in progressive mode. I think, let me see if what's gonna happen. Okay, so it is like changing the value, it's working, so maybe we need to increase the density a little bit more. Okay, so if I change a frame, to where the explosion is still super hot. Okay, I think we can start like this. And then, you could basically play with your values. There is no perfect shader. It will always depend on how good is your the amount of values that you have inside your fields. So it's going to be very difficult otherwise to get it super correct. But you can always play with your values. The general idea is if you check your values in, where is it? If you go here, if you load RSIM here, it will give you a general idea of maximum minimums. So it's like, my maximum density is 10, so I could possibly squeeze out a bit more information there by saying, hey, my total value is 10, and then maybe I want to do like 30. I don't know, like if you want to increase the density, and then you can also play by how much of the light is being absorbed to kind of get as close as possible. Now let's go out again. Do we have the motion blur turned on here? It is on, that's fine. And so if I go here and say render all, okay, I'm just gonna do this, hit render. Okay, maybe I want it still a bit more bright. I think we went too dark. Maybe 10. Okay, now we're missing the environment, of course. So I guess I'm just gonna get these guys in here. And I'm gonna render ocean render. Okay. What else? Now, okay, we still have to do the interaction there for the water area. So let's do that as well. Now that means we need to end up going inside the water sim. Now in here, I'm going to inject a new force. Okay, my boat is not moving here anymore, so I don't need the side force. Instead, we're going to have a cannon force. Okay. Now the cannon force needs to be timed properly with the when the guns fire, right? And we did change our timing, so we need to be careful now. So what do I have here is I have 3 spheres, and they are keyed. Their uniform scale is keyed, basically. Okay. Let me hide everything else. And they are keyed from 980, which is my pre-roll, I believe. Then I offset it, I guess. Yeah, here. Okay. So if I go here, basically this is what's happening. That's all. It's like carefully timed spheres growing and getting smaller. Now let's make sure that that works with our current timing, which is not going to be because I changed it. So where is it? We could use the bounding boxes, right? Okay, so the first one is at 1001. So I need to go into my water here. So this works. Okay, the next one is all the way to 1010. So that one won't work now. So which one is the next one? I guess if I, and that's which one? Disconnect, show all. Yeah, it's this one, the selected one, but it needs to be not visible in The sphere should not be visible in frame 1009, so that's easy. I guess if we do 10, no, 7. Oh, the opposite way. We're going the wrong way. Well, the easiest thing would be, I guess, to just move this to the correct frame, which we said. Okay, then I don't need these. Okay, I want this to start at 1010, shift, middle mouse click, select both. While selected, slide it to 1010, which is out here. So that should do. Okay, and that's that. And then finally, there's the third one. It's not visible. Oh, okay, bounding box. So this one starts at 1008. Okay, then something like this. And I don't need this anymore, but I need to fix this one. So this one is now when poof 1001. Make sure that this is at 1001. Okay, and that should be it. Now if I look, so then basically I'm just adding a point jitter. Okay, and I'm subdividing these. Then I'm adding a time blend, a trail. So we have like a couple copies of these, just for velocity, sorry. Adding an attribute noise. Now I want this to be not affecting behind the boat, so I'm literally cutting it out. Doing a polyfill and converting this to VDB using the point velocity. And now I'm just going to plug this into my solver. Just diving inside. Here we go. .NET. Not much of a pre-roll here, so I guess we need to make sure that this is set that starts at 980. That should be enough because the water is generally calm here. Okay, dive inside. Again, and instead of side force, now I'm just gonna point it to cannon fire. Okay, and this one, because it's a single shot, I'm setting it to 1. I need to play with the values, but that's generally speaking, it should be okay. Now the cannon tends to get a little crazy. So what I also did was, instead of this guy, because not much is going to happen here, just a little bit wobble we want, I did put a pop speed limit to force maximum speed of the particles to something lower than otherwise they'll go, which is 20 units per frame, I guess. Okay, and let me do a little test. Okay, so I'm gonna give a value of, what is this? I'm gonna do multiply this by 2. That's a big value, but let's see. Oh, we need to do the sim area, of course. This is our ship, and this is not where our sim area is. So I got it static here based on this animation, which is just this. Okay, so here we are. And if we go to the first frame, and look from the camera view. These are our particles which we are going to simulate. Okay. Now if because the explosion is happening at 1000, I just want to make sure that our forces are working. So I'm gonna go to this frame and basically just going to go one frame forward to see if something's gonna explode. Okay, so that's our force in effect. If I go one more frame, things are about to explode, and basically that's it. We do follow the rest of the uh, workflow we did for the other scenes, and we'll just end up rendering our scene, and I guess there's not much to show really. And then you just mesh this area and replace it, and then we're going to put it together. Now, I think the one last thing I can do is to kind of like go back to oh, actually, there's some other important stuff. So we're going back now. Okay, so simulation wise, that's all there is here. Okay, we didn't render the where is the first sim? We did the trail sim, right? We didn't do that one. We could still render that one if you guys want. But there's no point for me to put another geometry node here to assign a volume shader to render it. But that's the general idea. Now I want to go back to the first scene. So let's save this. And let's go back to the first scene, which I unfortunately forgot to save the version that I actually made it this colorful and nice. So I'll have to redo that again. Now, what I want to show you guys is how to take the renders. So actually, we could probably do that one in the nuke. Let me open that up as well. A little workflow on sky domes. Okay. Now, we did render this one, right? So let's go inside and let's render this out. Okay, so this is HD res. So let's reformat this our renders to HD. Okay, and so we have a sky which we don't have here, right? So let's save this. Actually, I don't want this. I just want my own render now. Let's save this. Right click, render comp. Okay. So obviously we're missing a sky, which is not working, right? We did fix this part, but we never re-rendered it. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of a garbage math for it. So I really don't need this part. Roto. Okay, so I can pretty much do something like this. A little bit dirty work, but just bear with me. I guess RGBA shape, make it black, and soften the edges. Even 9 sides like this. That goes over, yeah, give or take. Maybe if we gave this a little bit of a color as well. So then we just have to, I guess, animate it every now and then, but let's see if that's gonna work. Okay, maybe like that. more. Okay, little dirty work, but it will do for now. Okay, let's save. Right click, render. Okay, so but we are missing the sky. Okay, so let's add a sky. It needs to be re-rendered, but that's fine. Let's go back inside. So how did I do my skies? So I have these. Where is? Let me find the path. Actually, I think it's in the Houdini scene already. So this I didn't save. It's crazy. Where is my HDRIs? It's in my library. So earlier I showed about these HDRI. These are the DNGs. These are okay. Can you read HDRIs? Okay, let's see. Yes. So I have these HDRIs that I purchased. So this one is one of them. It's pure white, but it's not. Oh, maybe the nuke cannot read it. Why you cannot read this? I need to render this as an. No, nuke should be able to read this. Okay, I guess I need to. I can do this in easy peasy. Let's open our and play. Okay, very high res HDRI. Let's save it as an EXR in the same place, but .exr. That should now work. EXR. Save. Back to nuke. Did it save? No, it's still saving. It's a big file. It's saved. Okay. Now work. Okay, now it's working. I can see it. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna do is the camera. So how do I get the camera in here? Inside, go back to Houdini. Oh, we don't need the M play anymore. Now you can select your render camera. Okay, File, Export, Alembic. It will say, well, what do you want me to do with this? Okay, we're gonna go to, this is shot A, ABC, let's call it render cam, render camera, or camera ABC. Okay, let's version everything up as we normally do. .abc, accept. So that's what I'm going to write out. And I'm going to write out for the frame range of 1001 to 1075. And the thing I want to write out is only the render camera. Okay, and export. Back to nuke. Now, I think it is in 3D, not the camera. It's geometry regio. Select, go into ABC, not here, 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 here. Select. Then we get this camera in here. Now the thing is, we have to offset our camera. Okay. If I look here, no, if I look here, we'll have a camera, but it's not going to be animate it in this frame range because it's not in this frame range. So I don't want to reread my values anymore, but I want to adjust my values. So I can select my camera. If I switch to graph curve editor, I can select my camera and then I can see that my frame range is here. So just, move the mouse to the center and come on. It doesn't, oh, did I not select everything? Okay, now I did. And now it's very hard to see the center point. Okay. I am not very nuke savvy, so forgive me for this, but we should be almost there. Okay, that is our start frame, and just align it. I wish there was a faster way to do it. And if I press play now, my camera will be moving. Well, there's not much rotation happening here, but we'll get there now. Back to node graph. So I want to project this to I want to apply this to a sphere, right? So I have a scene now, scene 3D. So this comes here, okay. And I have a sphere that is this guy here, that centered. So it's too small, obviously. I'm gonna make this like a, I don't know, 1,000 to make sure that it covers enough range, and it's definitely in, oops, and it's definitely inside my, come on, here, definitely inside my camera. So that you're a part of the scene as well. And now we need, if you look from the camera here, we see the sky, good. And the next thing we're gonna need is renderer. Oh, I think it's in here, easier to find. 3D Classic, I'm using this one. I couldn't use the other one, Scanline Render. And objects are here, and that's it really. And the camera is here, sorry. This is the camera. If I hit tab, I have a sky. Okay, now I just have to put my sky behind, and to make sure the resolution is good, behind my screen. Then I'm gonna have a sky. This environment was rendered against a different sky, so there's a difference. But if I press play, you'll see that it's rotating accordingly as it should. Okay. There are the tricks that obviously it's not that simple, but it's not a new tutorial. But I think I can show you what I am doing if I, let's save this. Yes. If I open up the promotion video, and if I go here, for example, I'm doing things like here, if you look in this one because it has a lot of rotation. I am kind of like creating a little horizon line using, just ignore my nuke skills, please, because they're probably horrendous. But that's basically kind of given a bit more like a haze. And then there's other things like you could always, add a little bit of camera shake and, some flares and stuff. But, ultimately that's where you end up getting it. And if you look at, for example, um, layers like this, if you dive inside, and this is how you guys can render your layers as well. This is not the correct shot. This one, sorry. Oh no, actually this one. Yeah, and if you look at the layer, oh, the layers are, yeah, this one, like this layer is rendered separately. In here is, there is not even a simulation surface, it's just the particles, because I'm just refracting the particles, and there's enough particles to kind of like make it work, at least for a tutorial purpose, maybe not for a feature film, obviously, but kind of tells the story. And there are other things that we could do just to break up a bit the environment. Maybe adding a little bit of a cloud layer. I guess we could see from here. So I'm adding a little bit of a cloud layer. So this ends up becoming this. I'm also doing things like plugging the rendering noise through the shot camera like this, and then using that to kind of to change the colors of the ocean a little bit. So we don't have to get everything right in Houdini or in Max or in Maya, whatever. There are many ways to kind of improve the look of a shot. But in general, yeah, this is, I think, this is really the Battleship. I'm just trying to remember if I skipped any steps, but I believe we talked about um, doing a little bit of keying. We talked about planning the shots, naming conventions, the config files, additional spray layers, floating volumes, floating particles with the volumes, the miss layer. We talked about shot variables, brief understanding of HQ. We talked about camera culling, inside and outside sim, VDB, point storage, vegging, versioning, ROP fetch to make things compatible with ROPs. We talked about, not in depth, although a gentle coverage of Redshift shaders, how to make proxies, how to render AOVs. Cryptomat, I didn't exactly show the Cryptomat, I think, so I can do that now. I have good examples of that usage. So if I go back here, I guess it's in a shot like this. Let me double check. So if I wanted to, there you go, straight ahead. Where was it? What am I looking at? Okay. So here, for example, this is our render layer, right? If I want to change any color out of this, I could just have a look at the cryptomats. And let's say I want to, do something with the radar, right? Or I want to change the color of, I don't know, maybe I want to flatten things. So here's, for example, I'm selecting this area which is based on shaders. So it's called the crane and the superstructure. So they're coming from Houdini scene. And if I, what happened? Wrong button. So it's just to affect this area. I want to lift the colors maybe a little bit, and that's what your cryptomat can do. And same here, just changing the colors. Same here. If I disable all, it's the difference is, it depends what you want to see, but it works for me. And finally, putting it all together. I think that will be it. Basically, now you're going to receive, in the at the end of this tutorial, you should be able to go back to your shot folder. And these are the videos. Let me open up the folders here. And yeah, okay, here. At the end of this video, you can then start going to the next shot, and pretty much you'll find a hip file in there that only has the animation and the camera. So you can continue rebuilding the setup or just copying the setup and adjusting to your bounding box needs. And don't forget the resolution is always dependent on memory, the bounding box size. So do adjust accordingly. But otherwise, that will be the end of this tutorial. And I hope it was useful. Please, after do your first round, maybe try to adapt it to a different scenario. And I'll probably see you in the next tutorial sometime in the future. Thank you for watching. This was Battleship.